NSB's own City Manager Khalid Resheidat. Special greetings to Khalid's wife Reem, daughter Ayat, twin daughters Rayaya and Amina, and daughter Hadil, and especially grandson Zayed. Would the Resheidat family please stand? Resheidats, on behalf of the City of New Smyrna Beach, its residents and businesses, the city staff, and the entire commission, thank you for sharing your husband, father, and grandfather with us for these many decades of service to the public good. We are grateful. Thank you all very much. When reviewing tonight's agenda with Khalid, his only concern that this gathering would be too long-winded, tedious, and boring, like our city commission meetings. Yes, we have an action-packed agenda for you, and all in store tonight, complete with stories, accolades, pronouncements, proclamations from all the living mayors with whom Mr. Resheidat has worked over the last 35 years. In keeping with Khalid's wishes to keep this moving, I'd ask each speaker to keep their remarks from 3 to 5 minutes, and if necessary, to keep the banter and back talk down, and I've only seen this happen once. Jim Hathaway will resume the dais and direct the police chief to clear the room. Mayor Owen, who could not be with us tonight, wanted to be remembered for the only mayor to recognize Khalid's true potential and actually promote him to city manager, only to have the next guy come and chase him out. From a personal perspective, I didn't know much about the Muslim faith prior to meeting Khalid, and I still don't. But if it enables someone to survive 35 years in politics in New Smyrna Beach, I'm converting tomorrow. And now it's time for a monologue we call This Is Your Life, Khalid Resheidat. Khalid Resheidat was born on the 13th of May 1960 in Amman, Jordan, to Najib Resheidat, a prominent member of the Jordan government, and to Hind Resheidat. Khalid has 4 brothers and 1 sister who all went to serve their communities as doctors, lawyers, engineers, business administrators, and a pharmacist. This all stemmed from their father, Najib Resheidat, who was originally an attorney in Jordan and then was appointed as judge. He went on to serve as a member of parliament and was appointed by King Hussein as a cabinet member 3 times. Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Justice, and Secretary of Commerce. He also served as governor of the country at one time. As Khalid puts it, he taught public service to us at a very young age. Khalid loved to play soccer as a defender or midfielder. He was a target shooter and a horseback rider. Khalid was also involved in scouting as a young child. Khalid's father played a huge role in him growing up to be the man he is today. First, he was taught the importance of education. Next, he helped motivate him into the career he is in today. Khalid initially wanted to be a fighter pilot or a criminal investigator. His father's strong influence had Khalid become an engineer, and after 2 years of serving in the Jordanian army as a resident for public safety projects, Khalid then furthered his education at SUNY, the State University of New York at Cortland, earning a bachelor's degree in physics, also helped to earn a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Toledo. In 1986, Khalid married his wife Reem, and they have gone on to have 4 lovely daughters whom have all experienced great success. The part he's most proud of is seeing how his daughters have grown up and how much success and happiness they have in their lives. He is also very proud of the day of the arrival of his first grandchild, and he loves being a grandpa. Along with being involved in the city of New Smyrna Beach for the past 35 years in various roles including city engineer, public works director, assistant city manager, Khalid has been active in many other aspects of the state and the community. He is a certified engineer for the state of Florida. He serves in the Florida Engineering Society. He is also in the Florida City and County Management Association. Khalid began his career in the city of New Smyrna Beach in 1989 as a civil engineer. He was hired by none other than engineer Hans Wolfer, who will be 92 next month. Hans, right here in the room. He subsequently became city engineer in 1994, and then the public works director in 2005. In 2009, he was appointed as interim city manager, then became the assistant city manager once the new city manager had been appointed. In 2019, after serving some time as the interim city manager, he was selected to become the city manager of NSB, a position which he continues to serve in until close of business tomorrow afternoon. Khalid is proud to serve his community and always strives to find solution and assist people with issues and requests. Khalid references the Central Beach project as one of his main successes. It was a three-phase project which took some time but eventually aided the community by reducing the amount of floodwater in that area. Khalid understands he is in a role to help the community and never underestimates our citizens. His awards include the 2000 City of New Smyrna Beach Employee of the Year, the 2010, 2012, 2014 Volusia League of Cities Administrative Distinguished Service Award, the 2014 FCCMA Assistant for Excellence in Leadership for his role as an Assistant City Manager, and in 2020, the Central Florida Boy Scouts of America Golden Eagle honoree. There are a variety of speakers tonight. I have the order shuffled a bit, and so the order you may have in front of you may not be the order you're going to be called. First up, if he's present, I haven't seen him yet, is Jack Holcomb in the room. Okay, Jack. Brown. Is Tom Horowski in the room, the former Development Services Director. Tom, thank you for coming. Come on up.
Wow. It's great to see a lot of faces that we work with and that we haven't seen for a long time. Thanks for retirement, Tom. You know, I arrived in New Smyrna Beach in 1991 to begin an experiment combining planning, engineering, and building permitting under one umbrella. When I got here, I found a young man working in a space that was carved out of a closet or the end of a hallway, I think. And I think his desk might have even been an old tour. That was my introduction to college. You know, after all these years later, when I was thinking about what to say tonight, I began to focus on accomplishments of projects that we had worked on together. You know, from the outset, we built a partnership of planning and engineering that yielded many of the key projects that became building blocks for the New Smyrna Beach as it is today. Canal Street Streetscape, Flagler Avenue, South Atlantic Avenue, Riverside Park, North Parsley Bikeway, and a myriad of less flashy but just as important projects. The planners and designers could come up with the ideas, but it took someone to help translate those ideas into outcomes and to ride herd on the projects through completion. And that was where Khalid excelled. I just needed to involve Khalid at the beginning, turn him loose to do his thing, and provide a little support when needed. I left the city in 2005, and Khalid moved on from production work to more administrative roles in public works and City Hall, where he's also proved to be highly capable. Now he's nearing the end of his journey with the city, and when he looks back on 35 years, Khalid's footprint on this community is impressive, And I will say I was proud to make a portion of that journey with him. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, former City Manager Pam Brancaccio.
I don't know, I think Tom covered it. We were told 2 minutes, so Judy and I have a 2-minute speech, but I was hoping Frank Roberts would be here tonight, because Frank, after Khaled's initial employment, Frank was the one that actually promoted him, and when I got to move to Smyrna Beach in 2009, Khaled was the interim city manager. Sally, who you will hear, I hope, from later, will tell you a little bit about those times. They were challenging. I believe you were my first appointment, you and Dave McAllister, in October of 2009. And then we worked together for 10 years, which is a very long time in city manager years, dog years. We've continued to have that friendship over the last 5 years. He is my conference buddy. He saves my seats. He always makes sure that we have a great place for dinner. And he got to join us out in Austin last October. And he's just an all-around great guy. He's like the best, is the best you can say in terms of college. For me, it's always been his faith, his family, his friends, and Smyrna Beach. And it's very hard to come up with any stories that can be told in mixed company, AKA a lot of elected officials staring at me. So we won't do that. But I asked some friends, I live on the other coast now, I asked some friends for Khaled stories, because everyone I told them, they're like, no, you cannot tell that. Do not say that. This is Khaled, do not say that. Well, Khaled, they remembered the time, there were about 8 of us, and we were on a cruise from Fort Lauderdale to Portugal. And we were probably about 3,000 miles into the Atlantic Ocean. And there was no cellular coverage, and there was no Wi-Fi, and of course we didn't have satellite phones with us. And I want you to know this guy, this is one of the great assistant city manager he was at the time, and his devotion to the city. The phone rings in the cabin, and it's Khaled. He did a ship-to-shore call, got the name of the cruise ship, found the phone number, and called. And I know it was something to do with the fire department. There's no doubt, John, that it had something to do with the fire department. I remember, so here are 8 people that I was traveling with in probably 2012 who just knew Khaled as that guy who always calls you. That's the guy who always calls you. Which leads to my next Khaled story, and you all know this from me, Khaled. He always has a gag. You need a surveyor, you need an appraiser, you need a real estate person, you need a stormwater engineer. Heck, you need the AC in your car fixed, you need the AC in your house fixed. Does not Khaled always have a guy? It's amazing, amazing. My first time, we were pretty lucky first 5-6 years I was here, and that we didn't really have any hurricanes, and we just kind of got a cycle. And I remember the first time that I saw Khaled in his hurricane outfit. How many of you have seen him in full emergency mode? I know they were out in Cleveland. I turned the corner. We had been at a commission meeting. We were all dressed appropriately, and I turned the corner. He's got boots to plaid shirt. I didn't even know the man owned a plaid shirt. I think it was a pig helmet with a light on it, because we were going out. The rain was falling, and we were going out. We were getting out there. And then he was almost disappointed that when we got there, the fire department had gotten there first and had evacuated everybody, and it was kind of calm. There was just a lot of water. But I got in about 1 o'clock today and drove around, and Tommy nailed it. There is not a project that does not have his fingerprints on it. I want to apologize. I think the round move here at Brannon Center is probably my fault. I'm pretty sure that Khaled said don't do it. He did say no. He's stars. If you don't know that about him, he's pretty stubborn. And he more than once would go, this is not a good idea. just not a good idea. So I hope the leaks are fixed. It was a journey, as always, but there wasn't a grant and there wasn't an agency that Khalid could not get dollars from. We would go to Palaca to Warner Mansion District and walk out of there with several $1 million. When you see the oak trees, which I saw today on Flagler, which they're finally standing up straight, that's awesome. Half of that money was FDOT. It came from a meeting basically with FDOT. And that is Khalid. The millions, the multi-millions that have come into New Smyrna, it's a direct result of his relationships with those agencies and his care for the city. So not kidding when I put right there with family and faith and friends in New Smyrna. And it was a joy to appoint you as assistant city manager. And I was so happy when you became city manager. And it's been awesome continuing our friendship over the last 5 years. So thank you for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, automotive executive and NSB business owner, Jack Holcomb.
Wow, it's only appropriate I get to follow Pam. So, I think I was kind of going through when I met Khalid. And I met him about 20 plus years ago. I had an elevator issue with the old Chrysler store down here on US 1. And I walked into the little building that used to be where the police department is. It used to be some other building. And that's where I met him. I was looking for a set of plans. And this kind man came out and said, I have this problem with elevators, and they're telling me my elevator's not the code. Because I know about that. He went this back room and pulled out my plans. I'd only been here 6 months, 8 months. We just bought the store. Made everything down. He told me what the plans were. Yeah. He laid down the plans. And he said, I did this project, and this is 5 years, so some says 2001 maybe? Yeah, 2001, so it's probably 97. This is how this went. They kind of built the building and forgot about the elevator, and they put the elevator in afterwards. Go tell them this. So I went and told them that, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And that was our first encounter. But I just always remembered how kind he was and welcoming, and didn't know me, even though we were across the street from each other. And that continued through multiple projects, multiple encounters, multiple buildings, sitting on boards. He was always found a place in the middle to solve a problem. And I think as a community, you want to work with people like that, because there's always a lot of conflict when you're trying to build or develop or do anything, is that you want to sit down with a welcoming person that wants to see your side of it, wants to understand your side of it, and will help you get to that common ground. And that's the one thing that, if anybody's ever met Khalid or ever worked with him on any kind of project, he's the one that leads us to that common ground. I just want to say thanks for 20 plus years working with me. Thanks.
Thank you, Jack. And now, ladies and gentlemen, former Commissioner Judy Riker.
Hi, Khalid. So I served with Khalid from 2009 to 2018 when Pam was the city manager and Khalid was assistant city manager. And I was a new commissioner and I was learning and I didn't know what I was doing for probably the first half of my whole term. But Khalid was always there to help. And his real concern for the people was real. I mean, he was sincerely and seriously concerned for what concerned them. And I remember when we had money to put in sidewalks, And one of the sidewalks was going to go on North Pine Street. And on North Pine Street, some of the sidewalks are on the right-hand side, and some of them are on the left-hand side. So Khalid walked North Pine Street with me, and we talked to the people on the right-hand side, and we talked to the people on the left-hand side. And the people on the right-hand side, who had the sidewalks, wanted their sidewalks there, and the people on the left-hand side wanted their sidewalks there. So if you go on North Pine Street now, you'll see that some of the sidewalks are on the right-hand side and some are on the left. Because that's what the people wanted. And Khalid worked with me on that, and he heard the people, and we got the sidewalks where the people wanted them, even though they kind of go crisscross. And what did that mean? Then we had to do a crosswalk, right, Khalid? So there's a crosswalk there too, so you'll see. That's the kind of man that Khalid is, and that's one of the things we did together. Another one was Esther Street. Esther Street's about this wide, right? I don't think you can get two cars down there coming one way or the other. And so there was all this concern over, we should make Esther Street one way. Well, which way should we make it? Should we make it come from Peninsula and go that way? Should we make it come and go the other way? We had meeting after meeting after meeting with the residents on Esther Street regarding the speeding, regarding the one-ways, regarding two-ways, regarding which way. And I say it with a smile because to look back on it now, it's kind of funny when you look on it now. It is not one way, by the way. It's never been changed. But Khalid, he just had the care and the concern to walk with me, to meet the citizens, to talk to them, to find out what was important, and to try to do what mattered to them. And that's really something else. I mean, you don't find that in people. Some of the words that I have to describe you, Khalid, are unflappable. You return every kindness with a kindness, and you return every unkindness with kindness. And your patience and humility are true gifts of the Spirit. It was a pleasure to serve with you. I love you, and you will always be dear to me, and Reem as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, former Mayor Sally Mackay.
I'm loving this. Hi. I can't think of anybody other than Khalid for whom I'd like to stand up and say thank you for what you've done for me personally, for what you've done for this city. I arrived here from Britain in 1973, and it was a very quiet, small little community. Khalid arrived in 1989, as you know, with Reem, but I didn't really meet him until I was on the P&Z board, and now we're getting up into the year 2000. I've been raising kids, he had his job and his children, but when I met Khalid, with that work, I began to realize what an incredible guy he is. He knows everything. He's got all those facts at his fingertips because that's his job, that's who he is, that's why he's here, and that's Khalid Resheidat. I think he memorized the entire city strategic plan. I really do. I got to know him, I got to respect him deeply. He was the director of the airport by this time, I think, Khalid, and Public Works. And I sort of slipped into being mayor for a term, which is fantastic. But it was the Depression. You all remember that? It was terrible, as Pam said. That was challenging. 2007 to 2009, and things were closing down. They were closed. People were really depressed. some friends of mine and I who had, I don't know, they had airplanes. They said, let's cheer the place up. So we got hold of 14 balloonists. And we said, why don't you come this January into New Smyrna Beach? Whoa. They were fantastic. They were huge, colored, creative. No matter that they snarled up the traffic from Edgewater to Rose Bay on US 1, and the police chief didn't know what was happening. That was an oops. The next year we had more. No problem for college. The next year, the third, we were up to a lot. We were up to 700 volunteers to make this thing work, and north of 20 balloons and things. We had Embry-Riddle involved. We had Epic. It was an epic. It was fantastic. Then it got a little too big. Khalid, all the way through, was as steady as a rock. The other time I really got to know him, Pam alluded to, was when we had those terrible rainstorms and the central beach sort of sank into the mud. I mean, it wasn't funny. There was a lot of water. You could barely see across the road. And I was there at 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to tell you, with my British welly boots on and a sou'wester from the fire department. And the rain was coming down, and Khalid and his team had it organized. This town has gotten better and better. I'm so proud to be one of the community. Every place you go, there's a Khalid story. I want to thank him for all he did before he became city manager and after. And I hope that he and Reem are going to stay, because I couldn't bear to see them pack up and leave town. You are New Smyrna Beach. Thank you very much, Khalid. You've been a mentor, a rock, and a friend. And I wish you very well with your family and your growing family. Grandchildren now, my goodness. It gets better and it gets better. So good luck to you all, and see you around.
Ladies and gentlemen, former Mayor Adam Berenger.
All right, so I received an email from Tammy, who I believe is Khalid's assistant, to ask if I would say a few words. And it was right after I watched the roast of Tom Brady on Netflix. Did anybody see that? And so I had this real good roast for you, Khalid. And then I was talking to Commissioner McGurk yesterday. He said, probably don't say those things. So anyway, it's my honor to celebrate for you today, Khalid. It's my honor. Not only dedicated 30 years to his life serving New Smyrna Beach, but has done so with a level of excellence that has truly set him apart. Khalid, our city manager, is not just a public servant. He is a legend. He is a true GOAT, the greatest of all time. You're our very own Tom Brady of city government. And now you might, yes. All right, you might be wondering what makes Khalid the GOAT. After all, Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings. And Khalid, well, you've managed to navigate us through more city commission meetings than I can count without ever spiking an agenda or throwing a budget binder across the room, not even a napkin. And while Tom Brady might have deflated a few footballs, Khalid has never deflated our spirits, even when dealing with 32,000 residents, P&Z, airport noise, or the building department, which we all know can be as challenging as trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Jokes aside, Khalid, what truly makes you the greatest is not just your ability to lead, but also your ability to inspire others and always to remain calm. For 3 decades, Khalid has been steady hand guiding New Smyrna Beach through growth, challenges, and change. His dedication to our community has been unwavering, and his impact is evident in every aspect of our beautiful city. From improving infrastructure to enhancing quality of life, Khalid's leadership has touched every resident, whether they know that or not. Now, unlike the Netflix roast of Tom Brady, I will keep it professional, so don't worry, I'm not going to have any more, I won't have any jokes about the AC in here, or building permits. Your contributions to the city are seriously immeasurable. Your legacy will be felt for generations to come. You have shown us what it means to lead with integrity, with vision, and a commitment to excellence that rivals the best in the game. Beyond the professional accolades, it's important to highlight, which everyone that spoke before me has mentioned, the personal side of Khalid. He is devoted to his family with, I had beautiful, but I'd switch it to amazing. Amazing wife and your daughters, who have undoubtedly been your biggest supporters throughout 3 decades. It's often said that behind every great man is even a greater family. I think we can all agree that's true in your case, Khalid. The love and support from your family are probably the secret ingredient to your success, and we are all grateful for them sharing you with us. So on behalf of everyone here tonight, on behalf of everybody in the city that you've touched over 30 years, thank you. Thank you for your service, your leadership, and for being the GOAT of New Smyrna Beach city government. You've set a standard that will be tough to match, and we're all better for having you in our lives. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, former Commissioner, former Mayor Jim Hathaway.
Good evening, everyone, and especially to the Resheidat family. Glad you're all here. Good to see you. Listen, I had a very well-prepared speech to give tonight to this group, and then somebody said, you only have 2 minutes. 2 minutes? At least we got 3 minutes when we had people come to the item to speak to us. So, Colin, I guess we'll just wing it, all right? We'll just do away with that speech. I was originally going to mention all of the people that you've worked with at City Hall, as well as the citizenry of New Smyrna Beach. I've known Khalid since April of 1994 when I was first elected to the City Commission. And I've known him all the way through 2018, and I purposely left the commission as it was time for me to go. But Khalid was by my side all the time. Good man. They don't come anymore. One of the stories I remember, and I want to relate back, was when we were having the floodings over in the Islesboro area. Khalid would come out with me, and he would have his boots on, and we were going to Foghat's house, Brian Bassett. His house was flooded, and we went out there, and you figured out a way to solve this problem. And one of the biggest problems was Islesboro was never planned. When it was laid out, it was just helter-skelter, and we ended up having to buy houses, tear down houses, make retention ponds where retention ponds didn't belong, but we had to drain the area. And Khalid was behind it. He was there the whole way. And I mean, I've got story after story after story with the hurricanes, with the tornadoes, with the fires, where you were there and you were well respected. And I can remember many, many stories when cooler heads always prevailed with Colin. You could go out in the field and one neighbor would be yelling at another neighbor and Colin would be able to take them aside and cool them down and make everything fine. And that was one of his greatest, to me, aspects of his life, how he was able to be so peaceful. You know, elected officials sometimes get a little hot under the collar. We sometimes say things off the cuff that we shouldn't say, and we try to balance it out. But having an experienced staff member that knows exactly how to handle a situation, that's Colin. You know, again, with the non-prepared speech, I decided to just, lighten up the crowd a little bit. And so I've got a gift for your wife, and I've got a gift for you, Colin. Let me see if I can find it. It's supposed to be up here hiding somewhere. Yeah. First off, this is going to be for Reem. You know what this is? This is the honeydew melon. You know what you do with a honeydew melon? You put Colin's name on the top of a list and you say, honey, this needs to be done now that you're not working anymore. Colin, now that you're retiring, you have to do something with your time. I know. I've been twiddling my thumb for the last 3 years. And maybe your children can play with you. I got you a couple of pickleball paddles and some pickleball. You can use the time wisely out there in enjoyment in retirement. Colin, you're the best. You're always been a good friend of mine, and I appreciate everything you did for this city, Ms. Smyrna Beach. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Vice Mayor and Zone 1 Commissioner Valley Perini.
Khalid, it has been a true blessing to work with you these past 6 years. 6 years ago, I started on the Economic Development Board, and I was working with Tony Oddie and Chris Edwards. And I was so excited to be able to meet our city manager for the first time. Heard all about him, typed all of these endless strategic plans for the Economic Development Board. And I knew that he was somebody that really cared about our city and our economic development and better jobs for our community. So I was just thrilled to meet you for the first time. I'll never forget my very first city commission meeting. I'm asking Khalid all of these hard questions during our briefings. We're only supposed to have an hour each. I think I ran into 2 hours. So Randy's laughing because he always came behind me and had to wait. But a lot of those questions are like things like, these are for you past mayors and your commissioners. Why did they save this stuff for us? Why didn't they do this when they were in office? But no, jokes aside. Khalid, we all thank you for all your advice and wisdom that you give to us. We saw how you put your heart and soul into your work, and we know how important this city is to you. We saw the number of hours you labored over bridges and streets, the homeless, employee issues, budget reductions, building codes, parking, economic development, and many other city issues. How many conversations have you and I had about this Brannon Center building itself? Endless. So Khalid, look around here. We've been talking about the Brannon Center forever, but tonight means more to me in this Brannon Center than ever, because tonight the people in this room are here because they love you and they respect you, and it's filled all because of you. Always remember this special moment and know that when you think you are at the end of something, you are really at the beginning of something else. Whatever you decide to do with that something else, new chapter in your life, I know you will do it with love, courage, and kindness like you have shown all of us. Enjoy your journey, my friend.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Commissioner from Zone 2, Lisa Martin.
Well, everybody else has been thanking Khalid. I'd like to thank Khalid's family. Khalid has been on duty 24/7, 365 for years, and they did not kick him out. Note to Kevin, when I send an email at 11:30 on a Saturday night just to get it off my mind, I expect an answer sometime on Monday, not at 11:35 p.m. Saturday night. Khalid's diligence has been just nobody. It's just unbelievable. So my thanks are to Khalid's family for sharing him with us all these years and by keeping him rather than just saying, hey, go to the city. They own you. But my present to Khalid is that he will never again have to listen to a Lisa rant. Thank you, Khalid. Have a great retirement.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Zone 3 Commissioner, Jason McGurk.
Sally, I share your pain here. I just want you to know if I'm ever mayor, we're taking a foot off this thing. You know, everything that has been said so far about Khalid is 100% dead on. But the thing that I want people to know the most about Khalid is he's the most compassionate person I've ever met in my life. This guy truly cares about people. And that's why everyone's coming up here and talking about the time he'd give, the commitment, the endless hours, no matter what time it is, that he would answer your call. I would often tell this guy, wait a second, he's going on vacation, and I say, Khalid, please, don't answer your phone if I call, because I'm never going to remember you're on vacation. And of course, then come to find out after the fact, he answered his phone when he was on vacation in the middle of a dinner, and I would get so mad. But that's just the guy he is. He couldn't not do it. But I want to stress, and I want everybody to know that he is by far the most compassionate person I have ever met in my life. There is nobody this guy doesn't care about. And that bled through in his management. He truly loves the people he worked for and the people that he served. No words can describe the hours and commitment that this guy has given. And when we talk about politicians getting hot-headed or commissioners raking him over the coals in an agenda briefing because there's a hot issue, this guy never sweated. This guy always took it. Whether it was from us or from on the dais, he always held his composure. And it's not because he just didn't have a temper or because he didn't get mad internally. It was, again, this compassion that he has for people and his ability to understand and reflect and understand the position that somebody's in, whether they're venting or they're in a very bad situation. And I will never forget that Khalid, whenever he wanted to tell me something or really get a point across, it always had to do with a person in the city, one of the people who live here, the residents, in a very bad position or situation that they're in or were in, whether it be in a hurricane or a flood. He always had a story of true compassion, and that's who this guy is. The other thing I want to point out is accountability. There's two kinds of accountability. There's legal accountability, and there's moral accountability. And all too often in this business, people with legal accountability in the context that if there's a problem in this city, and we, the city, are not legally accountable for it, that's usually the road that most people in his position will take. They'll stand behind the legality of what they do or don't have to do, even if it's the city's fault. But not this guy. This guy always does what's right based on morality. If we did something wrong, he's always willing to fix it. He's always willing to do the right thing for the people. And that is incredibly unusual. And that is what this is the mark that this man leaves in his history in this community. Now there's another issue of accountability I want to briefly touch on. Khalid is a huge Raiders fan. Boo! I am a huge Dolphins fan. And every year, yes, every time the Dolphins play the Raiders, we have a nice gentlemanly bet of $1. And it goes back and forth. But last year, the Dolphins won. But we were standing in the foyer of his office, and Tammy was there. Tammy's also a great big Dolphins fan. And Ron was there, so I have witnesses. And I believe Dave Ray may have walked in on this conversation too. And we got bold, and we laid down more than $1 on the bet. This was the bet. The person who lost had to put the other team's license plate on the front of their car for 1 year. For the whole year until the next season started. So guess who won? The Dolphins. So I walk in Monday and I'm gloating and I'm like high-fiving, and Khalid is just shaking his head and, has his head down. And I said, "You want me to get you the license plate?" And he says, no, I know a guy. Pam, where are you at, Pam? I know a guy. I got a friend who sells these things. I got a guy. So a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by. I'm like, hey, you need me to get it? No, I know a guy. I'm going to get it. Don't worry about it. A month or two goes by. Call me. I'm like, hey, you sure? You don't want me to get one? It's like, no, believe me, trust me, I know a guy. So after 3 or 4 months, I'm like, okay, he's not going to do it. Accountability, right? So I found his guy. And I bring tonight the #1 fan of the Miami Dolphins license plate. And I text him, right, earlier today. Khalid, is today your last work day or is tomorrow? He says tomorrow. Good. Because I will be by tomorrow during your work day with screws and a screwdriver, and we are going to put this on together tomorrow. And what happens if I haven't looked at the schedule next year? What if the Dolphins and the Raiders don't play each other next year? I don't know, we might have to go 2 years. Khalid, it has been a pleasure serving with you. You are one of a kind, and you are just an awesome, outstanding person. And the family, thank you for sharing him with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McGurk. There are a few things more dangerous than a politician with a loose live mic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Commissioner from Zone 4, Randy Hartman.
So one of the other worst things is one who's running for re-election, right? So thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is truly a momentous occasion. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about when I retired my first time. It gets easier the second time. And I was thinking about all the emotions that I went through. And I'm sure that you've had a very emotional week this week. And I'm sure that you've had times when you were really, truly happy. Probably Monday afternoon when you had your last briefing session. And then I go, well, there's probably some sadness in this going on right now too. And I'm going, that was probably Tuesday night. That was the last time you're going to get all that expert advice in 3-minute snippets. And, where are you going to go from here? But, what's amazing is that your faith in the person who you are inside is what got you to this point. And as you go down this next road in your life, remember, you still have that faith and you have what's inside. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Volusia County Zone 3 Councilman Danny Robbins.
What Commissioner McGurk doesn't know is that now Khalid's family and his grandchildren and my family, we can all get free ice cream cones now from the Dairy Queen on US 1. So definitely excited about that. Listen, guys, just so much has been said about Khalid, and it's just a tremendous honor to be here before you guys and just surely in his presence. But thank you guys for coming out tonight to honor the Khalid Resheidat. I say the because of the pedestal not only myself, but this community so deservingly put him on. Khalid is one of the few people that I've run into in my 39 years that truly puts others 100% of the time ahead of himself. 100% of the time. And in doing so has become one of the most respected leaders easily in Volusia County. With all of our travels, the people that we speak to, the emails, the phone calls, in my time here in Volusia County, both privately and in public service, I can honestly say I've never heard one bad comment, rumor, or thing about Khalid Resheidat. Give it up for Khalid. And in the Robbins household, we hold General Jim Mattis, who's a buddy of mine, I don't know if he's here or not, Jake Johansson, Khalid Resheidat, and the Pope are all at the same level. And I'm really proud to have your friendship, your leadership. You give us, you bring us so much joy and light, and you touch so many lives, Khalid, because you don't even know. And you're a pretty decent fisherman. I've seen you. So, Khalid, a thank you is not enough for the impact that you've made here, both in New Smyrna Beach and in Volusia County. So much of us look up to you. I truly wish you and your family the best. You have a beautiful family. Please enjoy them. You've done your time, and I shouldn't say sentence, but you've done your time, and we are so thankful for you and whatnot. But on behalf of myself, District 3, Volusia County Council, Volusia County Councilman Matt Reinhardt, and the rest of our council, I'd like you to come up here. We're going to honor you with a proclamation. Khalid, come on up. Volusia County, Florida, whereas Khalid Resheidat has a long and distinguished record of service to the residents of New Smyrna Beach, having served as a project engineer, director of public works, assistant city manager before he was appointed city manager in 2019. And whereas Mr. Resheidat has led this charming community with vision and vitality through challenging times, including devastating hurricanes and the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas a strong advocate of responsible government, he spearheaded numerous initiatives to resolve critical problems and improve the quality of life in New Smyrna Beach. And whereas the Central Beach Project, West Canal Streetscape Project, State Road 44 Sewer Assessment, and the Turnbull Bond Ballot Initiative showcased Mr. Resheidat's commitment to excellence and continuous process improvement. And whereas at the heart of his public service and his desire to improve the lives of New Smyrna Beach residents, ensuring they have a clean and safe place to live with a healthy and vibrant economy. Now, therefore, we, the County Council of Volusia County, Florida, do hereby proclaim August 29, 2024 as Forever Khalid Resheidat Day. Thank you, guys. Give up a Khalid.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, New Smyrna Beach Fire Chief Sean Vandermark. Chief Vandermark.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Kyle and I have been working together for 26 years. He's been here longer than I have, but in our 26 years we have worked together. We've done darn near everything, Colin. We've done wildfires, we've done hurricanes, flooding, we've even done a virus that shut down business for almost 3 years. In that time, I have come to just honor you, just to recognize the person you are, the man of great character that you are, the leader that you are, and a true friend. And I just appreciate you. The New Smyrna Beach Fire Department, on behalf of all of them, we appreciate you and what you've done. For those of you who don't know, you are safer here today because of Khalid Resheidat. He has shaped the city, he has shaped this department, and we just want to recognize him and his contributions through many, many, many years. So, on behalf of the New Smyrna Fire Department, I'd like to offer you this. And inscribed on here, it says, presented in honor of Khalid Resheidat, whose unwavering support and steadfast friendship has greatly contributed to the New Smyrna Beach Fire Department and the community that it serves. Your dedication and service are deeply appreciated. Khalid, congratulations.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, New Smyrna Beach Police Department Chief Eric Feldman.
All right, Colin. So I learned something new about Colin tonight, as I've been watching those pictures go by for the last hour. I did not know you wanted to be a criminal investigator. There's time. You need to bring the mustache back. Hawaiian shirt, shoulder holster. Guys get the reference, right? Ferrari, college PI. College, just a couple of words for you. Collide's unwavering support of the New Smyrna Beach Police Department has been instrumental in our ability to serve and protect this community effectively. From the moment I took over as Chief of Police, Khalid demonstrated a unique ability to listen, understand, and adapt to our department's evolving needs. Whether it was addressing our budgetary concerns, navigating operational challenges, or exploring innovative solutions, he consistently worked hand in hand with us to find the best path forward. One of Khaled's most notable qualities is his commitment to collaboration. In every interaction, he approached our challenges with an open mind and a problem-solving mindset. When issues arose, Khalid didn't just seek to address them, he worked to find solutions that balance the needs of our police department with the broader interests of the city. His ability to adapt to our needs and advocate for our officers has truly made a difference in our operations and our morale. Khalid, your support has empowered us to better serve New Smyrna Beach, and for that we are deeply grateful. Your legacy is not just in the decisions you've made or the policies you've implemented, but in the spirit of partnership and problem solving that you have fostered in the city. As you retire, please know that your impact will be felt in every positive change and every success that we achieve as a police department. On behalf of the New Smyrna Beach Police Department, the city, and every resident who benefits from your dedication, thank you, Khalid. We wish your retirement filled with joy, relaxation, and the satisfaction of knowing that you've made a lasting difference. Congratulations, sir. Not to be outdone by the fire department. It wasn't good yet. So from all the men and women of the police department, this is a hand-engraved plaque, and it says, with deep appreciation for 35 years of support of public safety in New Smyrna Beach.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, New Smyrna Beach's prospective city manager, Kevin Cowper.
Thank you very much. Khalid and I have, we go back a long, long way. We've known each other for 29 days now, so it's just been fantastic. Khalid, this gathering, the accolades tonight, the presence of employees, former employees, colleagues, elected officials, past and present. It's a real testament to your character and to your love for this city. Looking around New Smyrna Beach, it is incredible to me, and certainly your hands are all over this community. Congratulations on your retirement. I will try not to bother you too terribly much. Khalid could have taken vacation 3 months ago and walked out the door. He opted to stay and help me with this transition. That does not happen very often in local government. And again, that's a real testament to Khalid and his fine character. I was walking out of the door earlier today on my way out, and Khalid shakes me down. One more thing, Kevin. I need to tell you one more thing. And so there'll be more things to come, I'm sure. But let me end this by saying, Khalid, congratulations to you and to the family. Thank you so very much for retiring so that I could get this fabulous job. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I'd like to thank the other electeds who have come in since. I see Commissioner Sachs here. Jake, it's always good to see you here, sir. Senator Wright, thank you for coming. Mayor Depew, thank you for coming. Commissioner Reinhardt, thank you for coming. And so many others that have come in support of this great man. I'd also like to thank the folks that arranged this. Tammy, Khalid's loyal assistant, forever and a day. Thank you, Heather Kidd, and the entire team for putting this together. Very, very well done. I have a story myself about Khalid. We spent a lot of time in the city's vehicle back and forth to Tallahassee or to meetings around, and you get to know something about a man's character the longer you spend in the car together and go through one topic after another. We never had a spare moment, and we're tired out just from talking by the time we got done. You heard me read his bio about a man of privilege, born into privilege, some of us would say with a spoon in his mouth. Many of us believe that immigrants come to this country as an escape. Khalid came here because he wanted to do it on his own. He wanted to make it on his own, not on his dad's coattails. And so he started out on his own and worked his way up the ladder to be at the top of his game where he is today. On one of his trips home, that he would go home every several years, Mayor Munson said, "Khalid, are you going back home? Are you going to see the king?" "Yes, sir, I might well see the king. I'd like you to take him this letter. Dear King Hussein, thank you for sending us your native son, the best city manager we've ever had, and my right-hand man, and a light within our city." Signed, George Musson. Takes that and delivers it to the king. The king, in turn, is so touched, he gives Khalid the crown and jeweled watch of the country of Jordan and a letter back to Mayor Musson. Dear Mayor Musson, you have it exactly right. This is the native son of the Jordan, and it represents the best our country has to offer. Enjoy his time with you. I've had the pleasure of serving at the right hand of Mr. Resheidat, who is a team builder. We share that love because it's not about I, it's about we, and he learned that lesson long ago. He has built an amazing team, and we continue to benefit and will for decades on what he has done. He is a servant leader. He believes that his job is to remove barriers to success from his subordinates and to serve them so that they can better serve the community. He does that in practice every day. Khalid's a role model for people up and down the chain. He's certainly been a role model for me and for the junior sign-on in the city. Joining the city team and joining Khalid Resheidat is an awesome experience, and he sets that example every day. Khalid has a commitment to excellence. You've heard about it over and over again here tonight. He displays that every day in all he does and instills that in others to get the very best out of his team. Khalid shares a love for continuous process improvement. Every day, Fred, we will get better and better, and every day we will do something different and change the way the city outcome is. My experience with Khalid goes back long before we got to serve together. He was assistant city manager, and he finds a way, and many of you have had this, he finds a way to yes. He finds a way to grant. He finds a way to get you what you want. Very easy to come in and say, no, the rule says no. But not Mr. Resheidat. Nope. He finds a way to get you what you want. And last but certainly not least is his service to others above self. It has cost he and his family dearly over 35 years of free time, of ball games, of birthdays, of celebrations, of graduations, for him to be on the call, on the job, 24/7. For that, Khalid, we are in your debt. Khalid, would you join me at the podium? I have a few awards to give you in person. City of New Smyrna Beach is proud to honor Khalid Resheidat in appreciation for your 35 years of service and dedication to the City of New Smyrna Beach. Congratulations on your retirement, and it's dated August 19, 2024. Congratulations, sir. I've had the pleasure of being a member of a high-performance team, the Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron in Pensacola, Florida. You would know them as the Blue Angels. Blue Angels recognize Mr. Resheidat's achievement for excellence in his craft and his trade, and would like to honor him with a lithograph of the 2024 team. Khalid, on behalf of the Blue Angels, congratulations on your time. Now, would the commission join me at the podium in front of the dais here, if you don't mind? Assistant City Manager Ron Nyberg here. Ron, come on up, please, sir. The City of New Smyrna Beach, proclaiming and declaring honorary Khalid Resheidat Way. Whereas, the City Commission of the City of New Smyrna Beach recognizes the extraordinary contribution that Khalid Resheidat has made to the City of New Smyrna Beach over 35 years of his career as a project engineer, Director of Public Works, Assistant City Manager, and finally the City Manager of New Smyrna Beach. And whereas Khalid Resheidat has been an integral part and partner in the current and past City Commissions and has provided great leadership to the City staff. And whereas Khalid Resheidat has great vision, discipline, and management of affairs of the city and has provided the City of New Smyrna Beach a consistent roadmap for success. And whereas Khalid has personality and the natural gifts to deal with crisis for the public from day-to-day activity, freeing the City Commission to focus on its effective growth in the way our community operations should sustain itself. And whereas Khalid is loved and respected and appreciated by an overwhelming majority of New Smyrna Beach citizens and is always there to assist in any way. And whereas Khalid's love and dedication to the city and the citizens of New Smyrna Beach has been the driving force, the Commission desires to demonstrate a fitting tribute to all of Khalid's contributions. I now, therefore, Freddie Cleveland, Mayor of the City of New Smyrna Beach, do hereby declare that the City Commission and the City of New Smyrna Beach declare Sam's Avenue from Washington Street to Canal as honorary Khalid Resheidat Way. Thank you, Commission. No ceremony would be complete, and this facility does not run on its own without its sponsors. So for tonight's event, I'd like to thank Lindley's Nursery, Boston Fish House, Flagler Tavern, Mondelez, Outriggers, Tiano's, James Hall, the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce, Lunar Studios, Power Entertainment, and Southern Paint for providing us services tonight. Let's show them around. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our honoree of the evening, I'm presenting Mr. Khalid Resheidat.
That made me speechless. First, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. And it's hard really to believe that it's been 35 years have passed since I first started working for the City of New Smyrna Beach. You know, we often face choices in our life. And in 1989, I had to choose between two jobs, one in Gainesville and one for the City of New Smyrna Beach. And I was blessed that I picked the job with the city of Smyrna Beach. So I came down for vacation from Buffalo, New York to visit my in-laws down in West Palm Beach. And my oldest daughter that's their first grandchild. So they said like, hey, you need to find a job close by. And so a friend of mine, he applied for the job in New Smyrna, and the other one applied for the job in Gainesville. I didn't want to stay in Florida. So guess what? I got both of them. So I drove to the interview, and everybody who knows me, I'm a really time functional. So if I have a meeting at 10, I'm there at 5 to 10. So we drove, my mother-in-law and I, from Gainesville to New Smyrna. And my muffler broke down in Eustis. So I was in a short and a t-shirt, trying to find a muffler to fix the car. Finally, I fixed it, and I got to the interview 15 minutes late. I had to change in the Bob Exxon gas station right there on Canal. In the little bathroom there, putting the suit on and coming out. When I came out, I was soaking wet. So I came to the interview 15 minutes late, and Mr. Wolfer, who will be 92 in September 22nd of this year. He's the man who hired me. So I came, and the secretary said, oh, you Khalid? And I said, yes. So came in, and I was sitting, and I showed him the receipts that I had my muffler. He didn't believe me until probably after 20 years. I told him, I said, I swear to you, I had a muffler issue. So Mr. Wilford, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. So looking back, it feels like yesterday I was stepping into the office that Tom has mentioned. It's a little dinky room there. They had to cut the table to fit it in between the two walls. And so it was full of excitement and perhaps a little nervousness about what the future would hold. But over these decades, I have had the privilege of witnessing incredible growth and change in our city. From new developments and projects to seeing generations of families enjoying the community we have all worked hard to build. It has been an extraordinary journey for me. But what has truly made this experience unforgettable are the people. I've had the honor of working alongside some of the most dedicated, passionate, and talented individuals. Whether we were tackling challenges, celebrating successes, or simply sharing a laugh over a cup of coffee, it's the relationships that I built that I will cherish the most. So let's start with our current city commission. So currently we have a mayor and 4 commissioners. The mayor has 2 days that he comes to City Hall. I see them twice a month during briefings. So we have 3 new commissioners, or 2 new commissioners and a mayor. So we have a meeting on September 10th, and I would like, from the commission, we have 18 consent agenda items on the September 10th meeting. I would like to pull 17 out of the 18 out of the agenda. So this is an inside joke. We had a consent agenda one time. We had 15 items. 13 items were pulled out of the agenda. So I would like to pull the 17 out of the 18, please, Mayor. So Mayor Cleveland and I, we became best buddies, best friends. I love you, Mayor Cleveland. We share quite a bit of discussions. We have a lot of disagreements, but the man has one thing, is respect. And he gives the respect. All my respect to you, Mayor, for the dedicated job that you do for the city of Smyrna Beach. Commissioner McGurk. Him and I, we go back quite some time because he worked on the planning and zoning board. And we share quite a bit about sports, as he mentioned before. By the way, the guy that he's right there next to you, and he didn't have it. So that's why I didn't have the license plate. But Commissioner McGurk, he is so passionate about his constituents that he will follow with phone calls. He would like to meet with the constituents. That's a quality that you don't see in so many people. So thank you for being a friend, Commissioner McGurk. That is something I value so much. And thank you, Jess, for being here as well. Because I know that when Jess is here, that means it's important. So thank you. And Vice Mayor Perrine, I cannot express my gratitude to you. You came in new, but you wanted to learn. The budget was your main focus, but your questions have made us better, more accountable, and more healthy. So thank you. Thank you for all the emails and all the texts that I received from you on a different time, but I appreciate that. And Commissioner Martin, as she mentioned, I don't know, for some reason, she likes to write emails at 11:30 at night. But thank you for sharing. Everybody else don't. But it's very difficult who doesn't know about the public service and being a commissioner, being on that dais. It's very difficult to vote for something when you have 400 people in the room, they're against it. So Randy, he always voted his conscience regardless of how many people in the room. Thank you, Commissioner Hartman, and I appreciate your friendship. Thank you very much. We go to former mayors. I have worked with 7 mayors. 2 of them have passed away, Mayor Vandergrift and Mayor Musson, and the 5 that I worked with, they're here. The first mayor that I worked with was Mayor Mackay. Mayor Mackay is very passionate about the job when she came in, and she had to meet with me almost 4 or 5 hours a day, which is unusual for a mayor to come in. But she was so passionate about the city, and it just happened we had the flooding, and we had to kind of meet more often to address some of the issues that she had. So thank you for your trust, for your friendship, and for your dedication. Mayor Banninger, when he came in, you know, he wanted to do his economic development plan, which he did that in 100 days. And I'll tell you what, we were having, Pam and I, almost ribbon cutting just about on a weekly basis. Thank you for your service, Mayor Manager. Thank you for the friendship. Mayor Owen, who couldn't be here, but I saw him yesterday. He was here for 2 terms, but Mayor Owen brought a different aspect to the city in terms of technology. He's a young, he has a lot of aspiration about technology. He wanted to improve technology in the city, which he did. So, Mayor Owen, thank you very much. And last but not least is the guy that mentored me, the guy that I worked the most with, and that is Mayor Hathaway. Mayor Hathaway, you know, we go back to '94. A lot of times when Mayor Hathaway used to walk into the office and him and I would be talking, after he leaves, people will come to me and they ask me, everything was okay? Because that's how passionate about what he's talking about. It looks like we were fighting, and we were not. We were just discussing. So, Mayor Hathaway, thank you very much. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for everything that you've done for the city, and I appreciate the friendship that we have. We go to former commissioners, and we have so many in the room here, but Commissioner Judy Reiter. Judy, I love you. You are a true lady, compassionate about the job, and I appreciated every minute that I worked with you. You just so pleasant and so positive. You have major impact on my career. Thank you very much. And then we have Commissioner Plaskett, who's here. When I became the interim city manager, Commissioner Plaskett was on the commission with Mayor Mackay. Lynn and I, we go back long time ago. So thank you for your friendship. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And then we have Commissioner Jack Grasty. Jack? He's back there. Jack, thank you very much. Thank you for your service. And Jack and I, we worked on when he was with the Utilities Commission, so thank you. And then Commissioner Jones, Eric Jones, him and I, we go back, same thing, when he was in the fire department. So thank you for your service, thank you for your friendship. We go to the former managers. So I worked with 3 managers. When I came in, Frank Roberts was the manager. And Frank Roberts, who promoted me to be the Public Works Director. So I want to express my appreciation to Mr. Roberts, who was on North Fort with his wife there. So thank you, Mr. Roberts, for giving me the opportunity. And I worked with Mr. John Hagan. He was the second city manager. John and I would go back when he was an assistant and he was a finance director. So John, thank you. Thank you for being a friend as well. And last but not least is the lady that who has the most impact on my career. And I said it to the mayor, and I say it again here. New Smyrna has the best city manager in Pam Francasio. Pam, thank you very much for the impact that you have on my life and on my career. Thank you very much. Elected officials from the county and also the other cities. So we have with us today my friends, Danny Robbins and also Matt. All right. And also we have Mayor Miller from Daytona Beach Shores. I appreciate you coming here. Thank you very much for the collaboration that we have with all the elected officials in Volusia County. We also have Senator Tom Wright. I don't know if he's still in the House or not. Thank you. But thank you for the collaboration. Your friendship made it so easy for us in terms of to get grants from other agencies, so we appreciate that. We go to the business community, and Jack Holcomb and I, we go back, as he said, 20 years. Jack, thank you. Your contribution, being on the Utilities Commission, made such a significant difference in terms of the relationship with the city. Thank you very much. And to all the consultants in the room here, there are so many of them. I want to thank them for working with us, working on so many projects for the city. It's not as easy to do a project for the city, so thank you very much. And also I want to acknowledge Mrs. Vandergrift, who's here. Thank you for coming. God bless our friend Jim. Thank you. To the former employees, we have so many of them, and I see my best friend here, Sandy Wickler, and also my best buddy, Randy. The former employees, really, if we go back, I always say that our city has such, the employees that we get, they come in and out, but all of them, the one thing that they say after they leave is they feel like a family. And that's the atmosphere that I like to see when I go somewhere, and also the atmosphere that everybody likes to see. So, to all the former employees that they're on the room, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for the service that you have for the city. To the stakeholders, we have so many stakeholders. So we got the NSP Utilities. We have Efren from the CEO and the General Manager for the Utilities Commission. Thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for everything that you do to make our process easier. We appreciate that. The Chamber of Commerce, Habitat for Humana. I know Mark is in the room. Mark, thank you very much. Council on Aging, New Smyrna Beach Area Visitors Bureau, the Marine Discovery Center, the NSB Historic Museum, the Black Heritage Museum, the Historic West Side Ministerial Alliance, the Southeast Volusia Manufacture Technology Coalition, the Flagler Avenue Business Association, the Canal Street Historic Association, the Board of Realtors, Advent Hospital, Team Volusia, all the city boards, all Volusia County cities and Volusia County. Thank you. Thank you for the partnership and the collaboration we have. We go to our employees, and that is the backbone of the city. Thank you. Your support, collaboration, and friendship have meant more to me than I can put it in words. Together, we navigated the ups and downs, and I'm incredibly proud of what we have achieved as a team. Yesterday, the News Journal came in to have an interview with me, and I don't know if the guy is still here. But he asked me, he's right there. He asked me, he said, what is your achievements? And I looked at him, I said, don't you ever ask somebody, what is your achievements? Because there is nobody out there that have achievement by themselves. These achievements are made by a team. I said, I was lucky and blessed to be on talented teams that I have achieved those things. So don't you ever ask somebody, what's your achievements? It's what's the team achievements. Special thanks to the department heads, and especially the senior team. So where is our city attorney? Hey, Carrie Avalon. I love you, Carrie. You have been so helpful to me personally. I compare you with, we have not the God bless Frank Gunny, but the one before that. I remember when I used to go and ask him questions, he would ask me 20 questions. And I would leave his office and I wouldn't even know what I went there for. So thank you. Thank you for the help and the support. I cannot express my appreciation to you. And Ron, thank you for taking the load off of my shoulder for the past 2.5 years. I really appreciate it. You are dedicated, and I appreciate everything that you have done for me and for the city. So thank you. And also the department heads, and I want to mention their names because it's important to mention their names. So we have our police chief, Eric, our fire chief, Sean, the HR director, Heather, maintenance operation, David Ray, leisure services, Rob Salazar, our IT director, Thomas Farmer, Shane Corbin, development services director, Arvin, our airport manager, Shiliza, interim finance director, and Shay, our assistant city attorney, and then Phil, our PIO. And also I want to acknowledge our former police chief who's sitting back there, Mike Hoffman. Mike, thank you. Thank you for your friendship, and thank you for the service for the city of Smyrna Beach. Also, we have our former finance director here. Thank you, Natalia, for your service as well. When I had the interview with the News Journal yesterday, he was asking me, can you tell me one story that sticks in your mind dealing with citizens? And I told him, I said, I thought about it for a minute, and I thought about a story that we had. We were trying to do a project on the beach side, and the residents were divided. There's half of them, they want to do the project, and the other half, they don't want to do the project. So we had, in this building, which before that we built this one, we had a meeting, and the room was divided. And there was a guy there who had he prepared a PowerPoint. He was on the opposition side. And he presented the PowerPoint, and he was making fun of us. He was making fun of city staff. And I remember telling the guy, I said, we will be friends one day. And guess what? I think he's in the room, I don't know if he's here, Danny and Carol, right there? Danny, thank you for being here. I told you we'd be friends, and we are friends, even though we disagreed, but that's how local government works. Thank you. To the city of Smyrna Beach, it has been my honor to serve you. This community is special, not just because of its beautiful landscape and vibrant culture, but because of the people who call it home. I'm grateful to the trust and confidence you have placed in me over the many years. For the new city manager, for Mr. Carver, I wish you the best, Kevin. I think you picked the right community to work with. I think you are the right for the community as well. I see that you're going to be doing even a better job than I do, and I will be more than happy when I see that. So best of luck to you. Thank you. To my family and friends, thank you for the unconditional love and support. And to my dear wife, thank you for putting up with me, late working hours, late meetings. Thank you, and I love you. And to my daughters and the son-in-law, you guys make me so proud. I cannot describe it for you. So thank you. I want to thank the staff who worked on this event, and thank you from the bottom of my heart to Heather and Tammy and all the staff that worked on it. So please, if you worked on this event, please stand up. And I'll be remiss if I don't. It's special thanks. Let me stand up. Tammy is, I don't know how to describe Tammy. We have Sandy Winkler. I mean, Sandy was just an outstanding employee, that she is positive, smiling, helpful. And when Sandy left, we said, oh my God, who's going to come next? And I'll tell you what, she is an image of Sandy Winkler. So Tammy, the gatekeeper, if it wasn't for Tammy, the city manager will spend half of their time on the phone. But she takes the phone call, directs the people to where they need to go. So Tammy, thank you very much for being such a professional servant. Tammy, when she talks to the residents, she's very polite, professional. She helps them out. She goes out of her way. So thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much. And as I step into retirement, I do so with heart full of gratitude and wonderful memories. I'm looking forward to new adventures, but I'll always carry a piece of Smyrna Beach with me wherever I go. I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge the managers from Volusia County cities that are here. So we have Mike from DeLand. We have the other Mike from Ponce Inlet. We have Joyce Shanahan from Foreman Beach, and Joyce, she's been my mentor as well. So thank you guys. Thank you for your collaboration and your friendship. Patrick Foley said about retirement, he said, retirement is a blank sheet of paper. It's a chance to redesign your life into something new and different. There is an unknown saying about retirement as well, and this one has really hit me. It says retirement is when you stop living at work and working at living. And I want to end with a joke. So why don't retirees mind being called senior? because the term comes with 10% discount. So, thank you, City of Smyrna Beach. Thank you to the residents of Smyrna Beach. You have made such an impact on my life. The testaments having the friendship and going out there and see people that I helped, that I know, it just makes me so happy. Yesterday when I asked me, what's your happiest moment? My happiest moment is when somebody asks for something, the residents, and I'm able to help them and achieve what they want. That is the best satisfaction that I have. So with that, Smyrna Beach, thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I want to recognize Mayor Miller from Daytona Beach Shore for coming, Doug Gibson from Oak Hill for coming, and our Utility Commission Chairman, Buddy Davenport. Thank you for being in the room. Have a great evening. Please eat, drink, and be merry. Let's celebrate with Khalid.